Pharmacists hope legislation in Frankfort will provide some financial relief for them.
Kentuckians concerned for animals come to the state capitol today pushing new laws. One of them being a law that would raise awareness for all the pets that need to be adopted.
Rain showers continue tonight, but what does tomorrow's forecast look like? I'll have those details now at 5:30.
Dedicated to southern and eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. A bill in Frankfort is on the minds of some local pharmacists. Some who are struggling financially hope this bill provides a little relief. WYMT's Madison program talks to one pharmacist about the bill.
Richard Sloan has spent nearly 25 years serving the Hazard community.
We know the patients, we know their families, we know how long what medications they're taking.
In recent years, though, things have changed at his pharmacy.
We don't have to just, say who is this person. We know our patient.
Two things determine how much your typical prescription costs: a dispensing fee and actual cost of the drug. But lately, those factors are leading to less profit.
It gets to the point that eventually you just have to say, is it really financially feasible, financially worthwhile to be in business?
As a local pharmacist, he's looking to Senate Bill 50 for help.
Senate Bill 50, what we wanted to do is to level the playing field so small business people, such as myself, and even your larger chains, such as Walgreens, can get an adequate reimbursement for the product. Currently, our competition really determines what our reimbursement is and how much it's going to be.
Here's how it works. A pharmacy benefit manager, or PBM, is somewhat of a middleman. Right now, they have a lot of influence between local pharmacies like Richard and the state.
Senate Bill 50 just affects Medicaid. It does not affect Medicare. It doesn't affect public employees, public retirees, teacher retirees, that type of thing.
The bill would limit the influence of those PBMs and open up more communication with the state, something that is not as prevalent right now. Sloan says currently, small pharmacies are impacted the most. Some might even shut down.
For anyone that's on Medicaid, if you have to drive a great distance, it's very expensive, and you don't get that good service.
But he is hoping this bill can help him keep his doors open. By removing the impact of the PBMs, Richard says it would make him more profit and save the taxpayer money. This so he can continue operating.
The biggest thing is knowing what they need and caring about them.
And continue to do what he does every day, help people. In Perry County, Madison Program, WYMT Mountain News.
Senate Bill 50 is now pending in the Senate Rules Committee.
Well, we've seen kind of that wet and gloomy weather today, and it's sorry to say, but it's going to stick around for the nighttime hours as well. You can see that here on Buffalo Mountain, those really groggy, gloomy conditions. I mean, not the best to be outside this evening. You can see those showers here on satellite and radar as they've moved through the past couple of hours. The good news is those heavier bands of yellows and oranges have looked to kind of move out. So we are now just looking at those lighter showers as we head into tonight, but temperatures are still on the warmer side. A lot of us still in those lower 50s. A couple of us, though, especially up to our northwest, have moved into those 40s. That cold front has moved through and kind of cooled them down a little quicker, but by tomorrow we will all be seeing these cooler temperatures. You can see that here as well. That cold front kind of in the middle of Kentucky right now, and over into Louisville, St. Louis, they're already in those 40s, or places such as Jackson, Washington, D.C. You can see we're still in those 50s, but by the time you get into tomorrow afternoon, we'll be in those 40s as well. Probably only going to be getting to around those upper to mid 40s for highs tomorrow, so definitely on the cooler side. We will not be seeing those 50 and 60 degree temperatures like we have been the past couple of days as we head into tomorrow. But with that cool down, we'll also see those clouds clear out and some sunshine returns to the mountains. Steve?
All right, thank you, Brooke. People concerned for animal welfare went to the state capitol today, rallying in support of laws they say will reduce abuse and neglect and raise awareness. Some people said Kentucky remains one of the worst states for animal welfare laws, but is getting better. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on what they are proposing this year, including a bill that a 7-year-old proposed.
No excuse for
Each year, a group of Kentuckians comes to the Capitol, hoping to rally people in support of bills on behalf of animals.
You know, Kentucky was ranked last in the nation for animal welfare laws for 12 years in a row by the Animal Legal Defense Fund. Just this year, we moved up to 47.
They're hoping to drop it even lower this year. House Bill 108 or Senate Bill 21 passes, which would allow veterinarians to report abuse to police.
What can you do? I can't risk my license to do that, and that's what it would have been.
Chris Albert says an elderly couple brought in a dog they feared was being sexually abused by their son. She said her hands were tied.
And of course, all I could do was treat that. I suggested that they report him.
Supporters are also pushing a bill that would provide immunity for people who break into cars to rescue dogs or cats. That's called the Hot Car Law. And then there's House Bill 27, an idea from 7-year-old Ethan Branscombe.
He wrote me a letter and it said, hey, I think that if we made shelter and rescue animals the state pet of Kentucky.
The bill passed the House and is now in the Senate. And today, Ethan received an award for his idea.
I just want to say to all the kids out there, don't think just because you're a kid, you can't make a difference.
Supporters are also wanting more abuse and neglect cases changed from misdemeanor to felony offenses. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Supporters say the Senate version of the veterinarian immunity bill has the best chance of being passed this year because of its language. Today, Senator Mitch McConnell announced Kentucky will get more than $1 million in transitional housing funds. That money will go to help provide housing for people in recovery as they adjust from treatment facilities to the workforce. The funding comes from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Some good news this evening on NASCAR driver Ryan Newman. He is now awake and talking with doctors. The extent of his injuries following this crash late last night at the Daytona 500 remain uncertain. However, doctors have said they are not life-threatening. The 42-year-old contemplated retiring in recent years. Ahead at 6, we'll hear from a doctor for NASCAR. President Trump granted clemency or full pardons to 11 people today, including former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich. The president commuted his sentence after nearly 8 years in prison. Blagojevich was convicted for trying to sell the U.S. Senate seat vacated by Barack Obama. President Trump also pardoned former NYPD Commissioner Bernard Carrick, who pleaded guilty in 2009 to charges of felony tax fraud and lying to the government. In Boyd County, a retired police officer is killed in an ATV crash. Deputies say Danny Mooney died in a crash on his property. He'd retired from the Ashland Police Department. He was working as a security officer at a federal building. His funeral arrangements are not yet set. The former CEO of Brady Industries is suing the company. A release indicates that former CEO Craig Bouchard is also suing all 4 board members over his firing. The aluminum mill is being built near Ashland amid some controversy. Former Governor Matt Bevin invested $15 million of taxpayer money into the project. The company has also been criticized for its $200 million deal with a Russian company. Just last week, in front of lawmakers, company leaders said they still need around $500 million in financing. Bouchard claims his firing jeopardized some financing for the company. It is a tough time for friends and family of a missing woman from Scott County. Right now, they just want her to come home. This is Sheena Baxter, a mother of 3. She was last seen Friday. Baxter was waiting for a boyfriend to pick her up outside of her sister's home around 7:30 p.m. Krista Crumley says her sister stepped outside and never came back. Now Crumley is pleading for help in finding her sister.
I want more help. I know we need more help because we don't even have no clues.
Crumley says Baxter's boyfriend called to tell them he did not know where she was. When Crumley went outside, she knew something was wrong because Baxter's bag was on the ground. Crumley attempted to reach her sister but got no reply. If you have any information, you should contact the Scott County Sheriff's Office. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, an emotional day as investigators release the autopsy results of a murdered South Carolina 6-year-old.
And showers continue tonight, but they move out by tomorrow, and then a big cool down is on the way. We'll tell you more about that coming up.
And Floyd County is implementing a new public transportation system. I talked to the judge executive on how this will benefit the community.